federal student aid, and this includes grants, work study, federal student loans, state and school financial aid. So you should try and fill it out as close to the like when it comes out as possible, which was October 1st, because it's on a first come, first serve basis. So, if you fill it out sooner, you have more likely to get more money. So yeah. And also it is filled out every year. So during your undergrad, you would be filling it out a total of 4 times. The things that you would need for your FAFSA account to be made is your driver's license and or social security number. I only put my social security number, so I think I'll be fine with that. You're gonna need your parents' email addresses and their social security numbers and birthdays. You're also gonna need their for them to make an FSA ID account too, because if you're under 18, they're gonna have to sign your FAFSA to turn it in. You're gonna need permission from your family members, your parents, or whoever's claiming you. You need permission from them to link your account to their IRS website. It makes it a lot easier, and that way you don't need as much information. Federal income tax return, you need it for 2019. Do you need W-2 forms, bank statements, and any information about your family's investments? So I just want to stress the fact that you guys read everything really, really carefully, because when it comes to government funding and financial aid, some of the things can get a little bit confusing. And if you want to get the most out of it, you just want to make sure you read it very carefully and follow every instructions. And then, make sure your parents or guardian sign off on this, so they will need another FSA ID. All right, so that one was pretty quick. And I do have other options for paying for college if you guys haven't looked into FAFSA or maybe you're already done. So the options that I wrote about were military programs, work study, student loans, tax relief, family and friends, going to a community college, or scholarships. There's probably a lot more than this, but this is just what I found. So for military programs, they're pretty cool, and it's available to both enlisted and officer military members, that you can receive up to $4,500 annually for tuition and fees. It's also based on what branch you're in, and that will determine your eligibility. There's another really cool, I think it's somewhat of a scholarship, called Post 9/11 GI Bill. It's basically if you have a father or mother or grandfather or grandmother who served at least 90 days after 9/11, they pay for your entire tuition and fees to go to school, which I thought was really cool. They also pay for your housing and $1,000 a year for books and supplies and such like that. ROTC programs are another really cool thing that come from high schools, and they basically help you to pay for your college. I think it's a little bit too late for us to do all that if you hadn't already been doing it through high school, but I just thought, maybe for younger friends that you guys may have, this is a cool option. So pros and cons for this is that you get tuition assistance and on-the-job experience that goes directly into college credit, and all of these are tax-free money. Everything you get from the military is tax-free, so you don't have to pay back any of the money that they give you. The cons for this is that you might be interrupted in college because you might be relocated or deployed, and it might interrupt your studies. Say you're going into maybe the medical program or something. It might not be the best, especially if it already takes a long time. And it also depends on the length of service that your grandparents or your parents or whoever was in the military. It depends on that, how much money you can get. And sometimes the time frame expires. Say your great grandpa, it sometimes expires. Another option is work study. So they provide part-time and full-time jobs for undergraduate and graduate students with financial need, and it allows them to make money for directly their education. They pay hourly at least once a month, and it can either go straight to your bank account, as in direct deposit, or it can go straight to your educational expenses, such as tuition, books, loans, anything. The pros are that you're getting money that goes directly toward your school, and it can even be something that you're specializing in, such as if you're majoring in biology, they can have you do a lab work study, which is really cool. It's work that ensures that your school schedule is your priority. So if you have 12 units in college, they're going to make sure that you have enough time for those 12 units and you're not working past maybe 20 hours a week. The cons is if you really need money and you're going to a really expensive school, your hours are going to be really limited based on your progress in school. So for example, if you were doing bad on a test, they would limit your hours for the next week so that you can study and get your grades up. All right, so student loans. There are two different kinds of federal direct loans. There's subsidized and unsubsidized, depending on your eligibility. Subsidized is probably the preferred loan, because while you're in school, the government pays all of your interest and you only owe the money that you took out, which is very good, but it's only if you're eligible. And the unsubsidized loan, this is the one that builds interest the second you take it out. So you're going to be definitely paying back a lot more money than you took out. There's also another loan called private loans, but it's a lot higher in interest rates. So it's not really suggested, but you can also do that. And the subsidized loan will save you more money when you're after college trying to pay it off. Pros is that you're going to get money, obviously. Cons is that you're most likely going to start post-graduation in debt, since interest costs so much. And graduate and professional student loan must pay more for federal loans, which is kind of sad. Another option is tax relief, which is a cool option that I found out about. There's the American Opportunity Credit, which is worth up to $2,500 for qualified expenses per eligible student. There's the Lifetime Learning Credit, worth up to $2,000 for each year per eligible family. There's the tuition and fees deduction, which reduces taxable income up to $4,000 by the amount paid to a post-secondary institution. So for all of these, you would have to talk to your tax advisor about these and make sure that you are eligible. And I'm pretty sure for all of these, you'd have to be filing for your own taxes, not under your parents, not your parents claiming you. So you have to be filing independently or married, joint, whatever, but basically just not under your parents. And you would also have to fill out this form right here that says IRS Publication 970, and that would help you to get that money back on the tax refund. A pro of this is that you're receiving free money basically from school, and you can deduct up to $2,500 for a student loan interest that goes directly to your interest if you have an income of less than $75,000 a year, or $150,000 if you're filing joint in marriage. The cons, though, are you may not qualify for these, and if you're under your parents, if your parents are claiming you and you're living with them still, you definitely don't qualify for these. And they most likely won't cover all of your financial burden from school, but they will certainly help. And then as for friends and family, staying at home is definitely a great option for some people, maybe not for all people, but it is a good option for some people, and it could lessen your cost for like housing and fees. And I'm pretty sure that's not really an option right now because of the whole coronavirus. But another great option is asking for help to pay for college, food, housing, books. Any amount of help is still really helpful. The pro is knowing that someone is there for you and they're motivating you to go to college by paying for it. And it can really, really reduce the amount of money that you need to pay to college. The cons are sometimes there might be some strings attached that maybe you just don't want to do. And relying on friends and family may not be the most dependable source of income. Another great option is community college. So attending community college will greatly reduce the amount of student loans that you have because it's a lot cheaper and you don't need to pay for the campus housing fees. One con, though, is that there's some kind of stigma towards going to a community college rather than an Ivy League. I really don't know why. They are great schools still. But, if you have tough skin and you don't really care what anybody says, you'll be just fine. And I'm sure you'll get a job just fine. I also wrote down a few scholarships if you guys want to take a screenshot of these or you want me to send them to you. I made sure all the deadlines are still pretty far in advance. Well, actually, I think this one expired already. But yeah. Yeah. And then there's a few more right here if you guys want to look at them. And that is it. I hope you guys find an option that's right for you. That's it.
Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. Is your when you do work study, is that provided by like school or is like an organization or?
It's provided by school. It's through like your college that you're going through.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between a work study and a part-time job again?
What happened?
What's the difference between a work study and a part-time job?
So one, you get significantly less money because it's through your school and it goes directly to your what's it called? To your education expenses. And a part-time job, you would have like an actual job outside of work study. They're required to pay you at least 2 times a week, but for work study, they're only required to pay you once a month. And it also prioritizes your work school schedule, so it works around it.
Okay, thank you.
So can you have a work study and a part-time job, or can you only have one?
You know, I'm not sure about that. I didn't look that up, but that's definitely like a good question to think about. I will write it down and I'll let you know. Okay. And then Luis, he asked if I can show the scholarship list again. I will show you right now. Go ahead and screenshot it if you want. Here's the first one. The Embracing Our Difference contest one. I believe that expired already because it was October 7th, but everything else should still be eligible. Did you get that one? Can I go to the next one?
I don't think we can see.
You can't see. Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't
sharing
think
my
you're sharing your
Sorry.
screen.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much for actually saying something. Oh my God, I'm like a teacher. Sorry. Okay, here's the first one. Tell me whenever you guys are ready for the next one. Ready? Hello?
Yeah, just go on.
Okay, thank you. And then here's the second one. I'm going to show it for like 10 seconds because you guys are not talking. Okay, I'm going to assume that's good because no one's saying anything. If I go to the chat, someone says they're not done.
Oh, wait. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you get like an outside scholarship, like the ones we just saw, does that affect like the amount of like financial aid you get?
I don't believe it does because they don't ask you to disclose any of that. And I don't think they would know if you didn't disclose it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, is there a limit to like how many scholarships we could sign up for?
No. Sign up for as many as you want. Sign up for every single scholarship, even if it doesn't apply to you. Literally just sign up for everything.
Right, thank you.
It's a good idea. You'd rather have like get rejected by a bunch and then get a bunch than only sign up for a few and only get one, you know?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Sasha, Jelena, Celeste, any of y'all got questions? Louise, Iris, Mari, anybody? Yeah, what's your question?
Oh, no questions. I don't have a question.
I'm gonna cry. Okay. All right. I think we're done then, right?
Well, I have a question then.
All right. What is it, Keone?
Someone asked about an outside scholarship. Is there different? What is that exactly?
Oh, it's basically just the ones that I showed you. Literally all scholarships are outside scholarships unless you get it directly with the school. Other than looking for scholarships, what are some other ways to save money in college? Well, basically everything I just showed you in the presentation is what I know to my knowledge that can make college cheaper. Maybe also just staying at home would make it cheaper. Getting books on like Chegg and stuff like that. I don't really know. But basically everything I just showed you was making college cheaper besides scholarships. No, it's pretty instant. You literally just sign up. It asks for email, phone number, social security, birthday, I think address, and I'm pretty sure that's it. And then it makes them verify their email address and their phone number. And right after that, you can use their FSA ID to sign up.
And you can do your account right after you do your ID, and then a few days later, within 5 days, they'll send you confirmation on both of them.
I got mine the day of because I did it on October 1st. I'm not sure if that's why, but you should get confirmation pretty instant. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. I'm just gonna go on a limb here and say that that's it. Colby's gonna stop recording. Bye, recording.